Yo, if you are tuning in, give me a little wave, give me a thumbs up just so I know that I'm not kind of like standing here talking to myself. Sup T-Bone? How you doing, mate? So, I'm hoping that the sound is going to be alright because I'm actually up in the office today and the camera is currently balanced on top of a very sturdy Christmas tree box. So we've still got tons of shit in our office here. So we'll give it a couple more minutes, give a few other people a chance to join in. Hey Rich. And then we'll go through some breathing stuff. And hopefully at some point during this I don't end up kind of banging into the printer or the stack of paper or anything like that. So we'll see how that goes. So hopefully you can all hear me okay. Maybe. We'll give it another minute and then we will crack on. As you can see, I'm still alive. So that's a bonus. Well, for me anyway. You guys maybe. We'll see. COVID hasn't killed me off. And it won't. Just too hard for it. Oh, man. Right. So, obviously, as I've said in the title, tonight we're going to go through breathing. All right. Now, you might be sat there at home currently thinking, well, I've kind of done all right. I've managed like 20, 30, 40, 50 odd years, however long it is, being able to breathe. However, there is a way we can improve it and we can make it more, we can optimal breathe. We can breathe properly. We can breathe to perfection. Now, if we can do that, that's going to increase our ability to live life to a much better level, lower our stress levels, improve our posture, improve our ability when it comes to sport, running performance, whatever it is. There are a ton of benefits, all right? So what I'm going to go through tonight is pretty much going to be the secret to that. So like, if you only watch this for like another 2 minutes, you will get that secret. And then if you want, you can just fuck off for the rest of your evening. Or we can go through a bit more detail. 61 years T-Bone, well done, mate. Or we can go through a bit more detail as we go along and you'll find out sort of why it works, how it works, and how we can use it to our advantage. So I've been looking at breathing for a while now. And all my clients will know that I do their head in because I smash them to bits when it comes to breathing. Fundamentally, it is the first thing we have to optimize as a human if anything else is going to work properly. All right. So, for instance, if you call 999 and there's a body on the ground, hopefully no one you love or know, preferably someone you don't, not related, person on the ground, one of the first questions they ask you is never, has the patient been for a run today? Have they trained? Have they deadlifted recently? Have they bench pressed? Can they bench press? What is their bench press? It's not, what have they eaten this morning? Have they had breakfast? Have they got enough protein? Have they had some water? It's none of that shit. It is basically, is the patient breathing? All right, that is the first question that they will ask. That's the main one that they care about to decide the level of treatment that the person needs. So if we can take care of our breathing, we can take care of everything else, okay? Little statistic for you. We breathe approximately 20,000 times a day. All right, so over the course of a year, that's about 7.3 million breaths that we take. If every single breath we take is poor in quality, whether it's slightly off or it's way off, we are losing out in performance in a big, big way. All right, so we want to work on that and improve that. And it is so, so simple. Literally, I'll tell you what the secret is straight away. Nasal breathing. Just breathe in and out through your nose. That's it. If you don't get anything else from tonight, or whatever it is, like just take that with you and just do that. Just practice that. It doesn't need complicating any more than that. Breathe in and out through your nose. There is no reason to do it any other way. Absolutely no reason. So breathe in and out through your goddamn nose. Okay? Obviously, at the minute, breathing is a pretty big topic thanks to COVID. However, if we get on top of that and we can look after our health by breathing properly, we'll be it. No problems. Absolutely no problems. So, breathe in and out through your nose. I'm probably going to say it a million times through the course of this little Facebook Live, probably 20, 30 minutes. But that's the one thing that you need to take from tonight. Okay? So my fascination with breathing first started back when I was actually doing an ultra marathon, and I didn't train for it. I did one training run of 7 miles about 10 days before, because it was like a last minute thing. And if I was not aware of my breathing and how to optimize my breathing, my movement, and the benefits of nasal breathing, I can guarantee I would have struggled far, far more to even finish it. I probably wouldn't have even finished it. And then today I saw a video of a doctor talking through some breathing techniques to help sort of people with any COVID type symptoms or asthma or anything like that. And being a person with asthma, I understand how it feels to be short of breath, and it sucks. It sucks big time, right? So I've always kind of been interested in how we can overcome that and push through that. And nasal breathing is the way to do it. The video that I saw with the doctor was pretty much coaching through a technique that it made me feel a little bit queasy, if I'm going to be honest, not because of the breathing pattern, but the way that the breathing was being done. The breathing in the video was very chest breathing, okay, mouth breathing. Literally, I'm going to start a timer now. Do that for 1 minute. Breathe in and out through your mouth like that for 1 minute. Like, I'll time you. Time's on. And tell me how you feel when you stop. Okay? So you're going to be breathing through your upper ribs, using your traps, your shoulders, your neck is going to tighten up. You're going to be very, very shallow into just the top part of your lungs. You're breathing in through your mouth, which means that there's no filter. There's no filtering mechanism on the air that's going in. So that air that's in the atmosphere right now is just going to go straight down into your lungs, straight away. You've got another 20 seconds of this, by the way. So if you're feeling like crap now, keep going. Disclaimers, don't sue me if you pass out or feel really sick or bad stuff happens to this. This is all your own choice, remember that. Last 8 seconds, keep going. All right, so there's zero filter on the air going in. Last 3 seconds, take one more breath. Time. Right, if you did that exercise, just pop in the comments how you found that and how you actually feel right now. Like how your head feels, how your neck feels, how your shoulders feel. If you breathe like that on a regular basis, maybe that was an exaggerated form, but if you do that on a regular basis, it is going to screw you up big time. All right? So we'll just see if anyone actually tried it. T-Bone, I hope you tried it. So you might feel like your mouth has gone really, really dry. And bear in mind as well, like obviously if you're doing this inside, then the air temperature is probably okay. If you were to breathe like that outside, outdoors, and you were very, like you might see if, you know, someone's out running, dizzy, yeah, definitely going to be dizzy. So if you do that outside and the air temperature is cold, well, obviously we're not in winter now, but if the air temperature is cold, like 6 degrees or whatever, that is simply going to go straight into your chest, straight into your lungs. And when we get cold, everything, blood vessels, everything constricts and shrinks and comes a lot tighter. So we get a lot tighter through the throat, through the windpipe, and then through the blood vessels that go into everything else in the lungs, the chest, everywhere. All right, so we completely knacker our breathing by over-breathing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a little look at like optimal breathing and what it really is first. That way then, you know, if you've had enough of me, you can turn me off, you can bugger off, you can go and get a drink, you can do whatever you need to do. If, however, you want to stick around and you want to listen to a bit more and listen to me talking shit, basically, then stick around. If you've got any questions at any point, bang them into the comments and I'll try and pick them up as we go along. Tony gets dizzy anyway. Yeah. Sorry, Tony. All right. So if we're looking at normal breathing, we can tell how someone feels, what kind of health they're in, just by listening to them breathing. If, for instance, I came in and I was talking to you tonight, like I have been for the last few days, actually, if you've watched any of the exercise videos and you've heard me kind of like huffing and puffing and panting as I'm going through it, I'm struggling to breathe. It probably feels a little uncomfortable for you to actually listen to it, let alone me actually doing it and breathing that way. It sucks, right? So, just taking a big... So I'm still struggling a little bit, but normal breathing is very relaxed. It's very, very calm. So if you were to draw it out on a graph, if the breath in should be very, very shallow, the breath out also very, very shallow. You probably won't actually be able to notice someone breathing if they're doing it right. What you will notice is when someone's doing it wrong. For instance, when someone takes a quick sharp inhale, or if someone's kind of speaking and they're kind of huffing and puffing and panting as they're speaking, that's probably a sign where you think the person sounds a little bit uncomfortable. You would be right. If we're exercising, breathing rate gets up, everything gets a little bit harder, pressure on the heart and lungs increases, therefore breathing goes a bit... Whereas at rest, it should be silent, not visible, and in and out through the nose. So, I'm going to go through this just sporadically in a way. So if you've got any questions, I will go off on a tangent. I will answer them. One of the first things I want to look at is the difference in posture. So if I breathe optimally, we talk about head position. Ears want to be in line with the shoulder, the hip, all the way down to the ankle. Okay? If, however, I breathe in through my mouth, okay, I can't maintain that head position. And the reason why is this. So you can do this with me now. Breathe in through your mouth, or if you've already done it, breathe in through your mouth. Again. Pay attention. Keep going, keep breathing through your mouth. Pay attention to where your tongue is in your mouth. Okay? You will find, unless you're a freak, that it is down. Your tongue should be on the floor of your mouth. Okay? That's because it's got to let the air in. All right, we've got to get the air in somewhere in our mouth if we're breathing in through the mouth. Now, if you breathe in through your mouth, what I want you to do is try and bring your head back into that optimal position. All right, it should almost be like a bit of an L shape. If you have your thumb and index finger, one into the top of your sternum, and then the other one into your chin, that's probably going to push your chin back into the right position. It's that chin tuck position. What I want you to do now, while your head is in that chin tucked position, is breathe in and out through your mouth. You'll probably feel pressure here, down into the throat, as the tongue is almost pushed back. All right? Keep breathing like that. It probably feels a little bit uncomfortable, or very uncomfortable in some cases. Okay, that's going to restrict the airway and it's going to restrict the airflow. Now the body doesn't want that, it can't have that. So what it does to compensate, rather than changing the breathing pattern, is it can't cope in this uncomfortable position, so it has to do this. And it slides the head forwards, extending the space there. And as you can see, I've been pulled forwards here. If I breathe in and out through my mouth again, everything's fine. Like, there's no pressure deep into the throat, there's no discomfort, there's no restriction on the breathing, everything's easier. However, do not be fooled, for this is only the first step. If we continue down this path, all right, think about this. When you're running, when you're walking around, gravity existing, that forward head position, rather than being stacked on top of your spine and in a stable position where your neck is sort of balanced, everything's working in harmony, your head is actually forwards, and heads are heavy. Plus this just looks fucking weird. Alright, heads are heavy, and if we're already in this kyphotic position, it's very, very uncomfortable, and it is not a good way to live. And automatically, think about the psychological impact of that. If we have our head in a forward position, and it's being pulled down all the time, we end up looking where? Directly down to the floor. If someone's a bit depressed, or a bit sad, or a bit fed up, or a bit with life, what sort of posture do you think would be typical of that person to adopt? Probably going to be something like this. Like if I said to you now, show me someone who looks sad, you're probably going to go, or put depression into a posture. That is most likely where you're going to be. And that's all come from breathing here and then ended up being pulled forward and down. In sport, if you're out running and you've got a forward head posture, think about this. The pressure through your feet is going to change. That's then likely to lead to, and stop me if I'm wrong here, typical running issues are with the knee. Okay, runner's knee, there's one. It's even got its own name. Thanks, runner's knee. If you've got knee pain, think about how you're breathing. If you're breathing in and out through your mouth, your head position has to be forwards. Okay? And as the most central function we have as a human, if we correct that first, you can do all the foam rolling and stretching, you damn well please. However, if you keep running and you do not change the way you breathe, you are going to continuously get injured. And you are fighting an uphill battle. You are sat on the Titanic with a bucket scooping out the water, and it isn't going to work. All right? You are on board a sinking ship. So, correct breathing, and we have a lovely little assessment for this. Normally, we would lie a person down, flat on their back, okay? And we would get them in a comfortable position, not take advantage of them, no touchy-feely, okay? All we're going to do is watch, so you can try this on yourself. So if you lie flat onto the floor now, and you can just listen to me talking you through this, keep your head flat, keep it back, put one hand across your chest, and the other hand across your belly. Okay, index finger across your belly button, middle finger across your belly button, doesn't really matter, okay? And I want you to breathe in and out. I want you to breathe full breaths. Okay, I don't want you to try and take deep breaths, I just want you to take a full breath. And I want you to take a few breaths in that cycle. The things I want you to pay attention to here are when you are at rest, are you breathing in through your mouth or in through your nose? That's number one. Okay? Which one is it? If you're breathing in through your mouth, change it straight away. You can change your breathing just by thinking about it and being a little more conscious. So if you're breathing in through your nose, good, keep that going. If you're breathing in through your mouth, stop it, change it. Okay? Hand across your mouth, breathing through your nose. Whatever it takes, go to nasal breathing. Okay? The next thing that I want you to look at is which hand rises first. Is it the hand across the chest? Or is it the hand across the belly? Okay? It should be the hand across the belly that rises first. That is an indicator that our diaphragm, which is our key breathing muscle, is contracting and flattening and pushing that abdominal space down to allow more space for the lungs to actually expand and draw the air in. Okay, it changes the pressure in the abdominal cavity, reduces the pressure, allows the air to flow in. Okay, so we want the diaphragm to contract and flatten. That's why the hand on the belly should rise up first. Doesn't mean that the other one can't rise up. So if you take a full breath now, it should be in through the nose. Hand on the belly rises first, and then the hand on the chest might rise second if you're taking that deep full breath. Okay? Now, once we've got that full inhale, we need oxygen to have a chance to actually get into the blood. Okay? So we hold it, and we want a slow, pressurized exhale, okay? More important when it comes to sport and movement and exercise / training, we want the pressurized exhale because that's going to help support our spine. All right, I'm going to go off a way big tangent here, but if you think about this, majority of pain that people have, and again, I'm going to bring this back to head position and breathing, is low back pain. It can be massively avoided by simply changing the way we breathe. Okay, so if we look at the structure of the skeleton, from shoulders down, we have our ribs. They fix our upper body. Okay, from there is nothing. In between ribs and pelvis, empty space, dead space. There is no bony structure actually supporting or stabilizing our spine. So we have to rely on the musculature around here. So the rectus abdominis, the obliques, internal obliques. We have to rely on all those muscles to actually create stability for the spine. Now we can actually help those muscles, the diaphragm being one of them, and the pelvic floor as well. We can actually help those muscles create that stability by changing the way we breathe. So I've already mentioned that a nasal breath causes the diaphragm to contract and flatten. So it should be, you get that belly expansion, you've got more pressure now in your abdominal cavity than you had before, which means you are more stable. Think similar to if you were about to get punched by someone in the belly, how would you actually support yourself? You would probably go and hunker it down and squeeze everything all the way around. All right, that's the key to it. Our spinal structure needs stabilizing from back, side, and the front. It needs 3D all the way through, everywhere, everything. It can't just be front and back, so don't just do shitloads of sit-ups. All right, we need some lateral stability as well, okay? So I've completely forgotten what I was even on about before that. Actually, no, breathing assessment, right. So nasal breath in, belly expands first, so this hand on the belly rises first. Then we're taking a longer exhale than the inhale. Okay, they're the first three. The last one, and you're going to have to change your hand position for this. You might not be able to do it to yourself too well, but take your two index fingers, stick them underneath your ribs, and I want you to push in, just jab inwards, put a bit of pressure here. Okay, the next inward breath you take, so draw the air in, you should be able to feel some lateral expansion or some outward pressure onto those two fingers. That's going to indicate that you're breathing into your sides as well, and that you're fully contracting the musculature in your abdomen to help draw air all the way down into the bottom of the lungs, rather than just chest breathing. Okay? So, if that doesn't make sense to you, please pop a little comment in it. I'm hoping that that's kind of hit home. Nasal breathing is the way to go, okay? On another note, just reversing back a little bit, when we were talking about posture, we were talking about, obviously, head position being forwards in order to accommodate sort of that mouth breathing technique. However, position that we can't sustain that is at night and sleeping, right? Now, I'm about to make a lot of people very, very happy. If you or your partner snores, it's because you're breathing wrong, okay? You need to nasal breathe. The problem that snoring occurs is because we have our head position back and our tongue is kind of falling down into the back of our throat, and we are mouth breathing. If we didn't do that, if we didn't mouth breathe, and you can try this, close your mouth, breathe in and out through your nose. Again, 4 breaths. Notice where your tongue position is, okay? If you missed that, try it again. So close your mouth, breathe in and out through your nose only. Your tongue should be up on the ceiling of your mouth, okay? That helps expand the airway down here, meaning that the airflow is actually greater into the lungs, all right? Hey, Miranda. Yes, top COVID tip there. Have a read of that comment. So, if you or your partner snores, quick fire way to stop that, okay? You can, for the love of God. Right, there's something called mouth tape, proper tape, specialist tape that you can actually put across your mouth. Do not be going around with a thing of duct tape and whacking it over your partner's face. Probably not going to be the best idea when it comes to anything you need or want. Don't do that, okay? Mouth tape, you can go on Amazon, you can buy it off there. Don't buy it off the Chinese, don't trust them. Have a look, you can probably buy it from the pharmacy or anywhere. Have a look. The alternative is you can just try practicing breathing better and breathing properly. However, quick short-term fix. Obviously, you can't necessarily go out to the shops or get something off Amazon straight away tonight. There's going to be here for you right now. But you'll like this one. If your partner is snoring, the typical go-to, and stop me if I'm wrong here, has always been to do what? Pinch their nose. That's just going to make everything 10 times worse. What you actually need to do is cover their mouth. And you can be as sinister as you want with that. Like if you... Or you can be... and be a little bit nicer. Up to you which way you go with that one, to be honest. But cover their mouth. That is the secret to anyone that's snoring. Stop them from breathing in and out through their mouth. Get them to breathe in and out through their goddamn nose. Okay? Nasal breathing again. I'll say it again. Nasal breathing. There is no excuse or reason or good reason or valid reason for you to be breathing in and out through your mouth. Okay? So, I think I was saying earlier about, obviously, outside air temperature. If you're breathing in through your mouth, there is no filter. Our nose actually does the job as acting like a filter. Okay? It helps clean the air, make sure we get quality air into the lungs, make sure it gets rid of any crap that's in the atmosphere, anything that's going to cause us disruptions. It stops infection from potentially harming us. It does a fantastic job for us, and that's it. I'll do my dontra. Does a great job, a really great job. It does a fantastic, it's a wonderful piece of machinery. Our nose is massively important when it comes to our breathing and our capabilities to breathe properly. Okay, it actually warms the air coming through into our lungs. So, for instance, if the outside air temperature is like 6 degrees, 6 degrees cold, all right? If we breathe in through our mouth, we take that cold air straight in, everything constricts, tightens, makes everything a lot more difficult, probably tense up quite a lot. That's going to restrict airflow versus, because that cold air is getting all the way straight into the lungs, versus actually breathing in through the nose. That air that's 6 degrees comes in. By the time it gets to the back of the nasal cavity in your head, the nasal cavity is actually pretty big. By the time it gets to the back of there, it's warmed to 28 degrees, and by the time it actually gets to its destination where it needs to be in the lungs, it is at the perfect temperature for us to continue breathing normally. All right, so perfect reason there for you to change again. Okay, so we've gone through assessing breathing, correct breathing posture, the impact it has on our posture, the ability it has to potentially save us from injury, allow us to perform better. It improves our health, or it reduces the risk of us getting sick, getting ill. The benefits are endless, and it is so easy. It's so easy. I'll say it again. Breathe in and out through your nose. That's it. That is it. All right? If you breathe in and out through your nose, that will give you a chance to optimize every single other thing that you do. When it comes to sport and performance, if you go out running, have a think about this. I first tried this maybe a couple of years ago, and set off running. Your nasal breathing is actually a really good way to regulate your pace and decide whether you're going too quick or too slow. Okay, if you can maintain nasal breathing, if you're going out for a distance-based run or a distance-based effort, nasal breathing will be your guide. All right. Now, you will get probably, you might want to take a hanky or some tissues or something, or alternatively you could choose what I did, which is literally just snot all over yourself. If you breathe in and out through your nose, okay, it does get very, very snotty. So especially on the, okay, there's constantly just shit coming out everywhere. All right. Hey, Campy, sup, boy? All right. So literally covered in snot, phlegm, spit. Blah. All right. Disgusting. Thanks, Miranda. Okay. Okay. So use that as your pacer, if you like. If you can't maintain nasal breathing in and out through the nose, you've probably gone off too quickly and you just need to slow down a little bit. That's all that's going to indicate. The benefit that has versus, like, there might be some instances, for instance, if you're doing high intensity interval training or performance activities, it's not always possible to breathe in and out through the nose. Sometimes you might have to and get it out through the mouth, but still breathe in through the nose. Okay, that just gives us a much quicker way to get rid of CO2, just get it out of there, because the buildup is a lot higher. The accumulation is a lot greater. That is obviously going to limit the length of time for the activity, but this isn't a massive problem, because if we're working at really high intensity anyway, we're probably looking at shorter bursts as we go along. Okay? If you tried that for an endurance-based run or an ultramarathon like I did, you would be breathing out through your mouth and you automatically expel a lot more water and a lot more CO2 as you do that. You actually dehydrate yourself by exhaling through the mouth. So if you're going for long distances, if you're running a 10k, a marathon or marathon plus of running ultra, you probably need to look at changing the way that you exhale to breathe out through your nose. Either way, whichever methodology you choose, whether it's through the mouth or through the nose, the benefit that those two have versus is a pressurized exhale. All right. If you're exercising or training or doing anything and you go, you see how that instantly changes the posture. It drops everything very, very quickly. Puts us into a very, very weak position because we've lost all that intra-abdominal pressure. We need to maintain that intra-abdominal pressure if we're going to be performing our exercises to an optimal level. Okay? So breathe in and out through your nose, in and out through your mouth with a pressurized exhale if you are doing highly intense activities. Okay? If you're doing that, you are going to change the way you live your life and you're going to benefit. Your sporting performance will go through the roof. Everything is going to look far, far better. You will save yourself from injuries. That's probably the biggest one. You are going to save yourself from an absolute fuck ton of injuries. Simply by changing your head position and changing your center of mass, that's going to change the way that you impact the ground with your feet. The majority of sports are actually done with your feet in contact with the ground. Not many aren't. I think, well, kayaking, to be fair, that's a bit shit. Like you just sit on your ass with that. That's just weird. But every single sport you do pretty much relies on foot contact with the ground. Okay? To perfect our posture is going to absolutely maximize our ability to do that. And especially in field sports, rugby, football, hockey, American football, anything that requires coordination and a change of direction, we need to be able to keep our head level in our center of mass so that we can actually change and move directions. It's so simple. Just breathe in and out through your nose. There is no other reason to do anything else. What I will say, just in addition, before you kind of all get bored and run off and do the rest of whatever you do on a Monday night, is that one of the big objections I always get when it comes to nasal breathing is people will say they cannot get enough air in. Okay? Now, just give it a quick thumbs up if that's the camp that you've been in, or that's how you felt about that experience all the time through it, or if you've ever thought, I can't breathe in through my nose because I can't get enough air in. I know I've definitely done it. Playing football as a kid, coach would say it and I'd be like, I can't. Dying, blowing out my arse. All right? If you go onto Google, all right, it's got a wonderful little section that allows you to search for images. Not patronising at all, that, is it? It's got a wonderful section for you to search for images. What I want you to do is Google nasal cavity. All right? You will get a load of images that come up there. You will see a few. The ones we want are side on, and it will show you the difference in size between your mouth and your nasal cavity. Your nasal cavity, all right, so think like if you're testing for coronavirus, popular theme at the moment, testing for coronavirus, you get a nasal swab. Maybe an Allen key might not be. Anyway, just for visual purposes, we'll do this, right? You're going to see me shove an Allen key up my nose. All right? You don't stick it up this way, okay? That's just going into your eyeballs and your brain. We don't want that. Your nasal cavity is actually going that way, okay? So the swab doesn't go up, it actually goes and back. Ask Sam. What have I got to ask Sam, Tony? Let me know. Hey, James, you're a bit late, mate. Sup, Josh? You just missed me shoving an Allen key up my nose. So I'm just explaining that by nasal breathing, you're actually getting even more air in. All right? You're getting more oxygen in because your nasal cavity is frigging huge. All right? Go and Google it. Have a look. Have a look at the size and the difference between your nasal cavity and your mouth. Okay? Not really going to shove that. Okay? So, if you've got any questions, let me know. Hopefully, I have been crystal clear in every single thing I've just said. Breathing, and even if you don't quite understand some of the things I've gone about, a couple of really simple little take-home messages. Why do I demonstrate? Because that would be rancid. I don't want to do that, Rich. No, I'm not shoving the Allen key up my nose. Really, really simple way. Running out of breath. At what point, Tony? Okay, so if you're running out of breath whilst you're exercising, you're probably working a bit too hard or going at too fast a pace. What you actually need to do is slow down your breathing. So, right, if someone's having a panic attack and they're like breathing like a freaking dog, bag, well, it might not work. Screw it. Right, you generally give them a bag, shove it over the face, and you get them to breathe into it. That just gives them a visual cue to slow their breathing down. Okay? One of the biggest problems with breathing in exercise is that we overbreathe. We breathe too much. Okay? What we need to do is slow it down. We need to, remember, pressurized exhale through the mouth rather than a, okay? We need to give, why are some people born to breathe two different ways? I don't know, Mum. I don't know. Why are some people born to breathe two different ways? What do you mean, two different ways? As far as I have looked at, humans are the only people that seem to, or the only things, not people, obviously we're the only people, shit, unless there's other people out there, humans are the only beings that haven't quite mastered breathing, apart from dogs. They're really screwed up because they're like, okay, most animals will breathe in and out through their nose. Apparently we don't. Whether that's to do with we've got the ability to speak, so we take advantage of that and we do it wrong, potentially, okay? Oop, poor connection. Hopefully I'm still in. So if we're over breathing, we're breathing too fast, we're actually expelling all the carbon dioxide. We need that carbon dioxide. The more carbon dioxide we have, the better the transference between CO2 and oxygen in and out of the muscles. We need to have a relationship there between those two. Okay? So if we get rid of all the CO2, we put ourselves into a bad position. We need to hold on to it and give carbon dioxide a chance to build up. Okay? And what I'm going to do with you now, like, so if you're struggling to breathe in through your nose or get any air in, I'm going to do a nasal decongestion exercise with you. Okay? So the way this works is keep your mouth shut. You don't need it. Keep it zipped. Okay? I want you to take a full breath in through your nose. So it should look like this. Okay? Then what I want you to do is let it go. I want you to go. Fully exhale through your nose. At that point, what we're then going to do, once we've got rid of all the oxygen, got rid of everything as much as we can, we're going to pinch and we're going to wait. Now, obviously, we're going to go through this at different times. You might hold it longer than me. I might hold it longer than you. What you need to do next is the most important thing. So when you pinch and seal your nose, keep your mouth closed. That's going to allow nitric oxide to build up in the nasal cavity. We want to take advantage of that. And then the next thing we do when you need to breathe, okay, you're not trying to pass out here. I have done that, by the way. You're not trying to pass out. You're trying to build up a strong hunger for air. And then your next thing to do is to let go of your nose and return to normal breathing. So go with me at this pace if we can. So we're going to take a breath in. And then return to nasal breathing. Okay, that should help clear and dilate the airway and expand the airway so that you can actually get more air down into the lungs. And you can go through that a few times. You can go through it as many times as you like. It will work if you've got a bit of a blocked nose as well. You can use that as a bit of an unblocker on it. Perfect little exercise to do, and it's, well, you've just seen there, it's dead quick, dead simple. Dead easy. Okay. Got any more questions? Running out of breath. So hopefully I addressed that, Tony. If you are running out of breath whilst exercising, slow the pace down. And all you would need to do then is actually slow your breathing rate down as well. So try and hold on to the air a little bit more than you were doing. I'm not sure if you got me there or if you lost me altogether. BT are literally just across the road from here as well, just around the corner. Swines. Clearly everyone's just busy using bloody Zoom and shit. This is what happens when no one goes to work anymore. The internet just gets... Hopefully that's cleared up. Oh, you lost me. I didn't really say anything interesting, to be honest, Miranda. Basically, I was addressing Tony's question of if you're running out of breath when you're training, when you're exercising, when you're working out. The number one thing is, have you been nasal breathing all the way through? If you have and you're losing out on your breath, you're probably going too quickly. So you probably just need to slow down, reduce the intensity a little bit. And actually, don't try and speed up your breathing, slow it down. Okay, especially on that exhale. So the best way to do that is take your inward breath and just hold it. Just hold it for a fraction of a second and then... So that's going to have a very calming effect on the nervous system and hopefully allow everything to check back in at a pretty normal level. So, your main takeaway, your key takeaway for tonight, nasal breathing. That's all you need to do. In and out through your nose, okay? Try it. See how it works for you. See if you snore less or your partner snores less. You probably wake up feeling more refreshed if you have been nasal breathing, so you're not dehydrating yourself, you're not waking up with a dry mouth, smelly breath, anything like that. You're actually getting better sleep, better quality recovery, which means that if we sleep better, our eating patterns are probably going to improve, our actual thoughts and our actual mental well-being are going to improve along with it as well. Like, that's going to be a massive bonus for us, so we want to make sure that we're taking full advantage of nasal breathing. I could talk about this all night, I'm not even sure. Holy shit, 45 minutes. Right, this was meant to be like 20 minutes. I could talk about this all evening. For now, what I'm going to do is just leave you with that. We'll probably do another one of these at some point where I'll go into a bit more detailed breathing practice and maybe even include some practicals for you as well. But the number one thing you need to do, and this is honestly, hands down, the simplest thing you could do to change your life right now. Change the way you breathe. Breathe in and out through your nose and experience the difference. All right? If you've got any questions, drop me a message. Feel free to ask away. I'll make sure I post this video into the group so that you can access it pretty much whenever you want and relive it, because it's such amazing content. But for now, I'm actually going to go and get some dinner. So I will see you tomorrow. Peace. LENKO out.